Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Francesca Bleckner, Mind Body Alchemist, and I support high performers in integrating the stress, nervous system patterns, the stress patterns held within the body through body-based coaching so they can come into deeper levels of their leadership and bring their soul medicine out into the world without the burnout. Today, I'm going to be talking about nervous system mastery and how hyperindependence shows up in the body, the specific somatic patterns that show up in the body. So in this series, you may see some other videos that I have spoken about where I talk about hyperindependence and the nervous system, and also hyperindependence and its influence of health, burnout, and illness. So in today's video, I'm speaking about more the tension patterns that are held in the body. Now, hyperindependence is very much on that pathway of overdrive, the nervous system pathway of overdrive, and that is fight and flight. Hyperindependence is very much push, go, do, doing everything by yourself, and you are trying to control everything because that is the way that it keeps you safe. You do everything yourself, and it tends to lead to exhaustion. So it is on the pathway of the fight and flight. You often thrive on adrenaline, on the stress hormones, cortisol. It fuels you to kind of, hold everything and do everything. So some of the common tension patterns that I see with hyperindependence that lives in the body and that is linked to that fight and flight system. One, shoulders, really a lot of tightness in the shoulders, and the shoulders metaphysically links to carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, responsibility, over giving. So they tend to have very tightness in the neck and shoulder. You're always kind of pushing. The other reason for that as well, on the nervous system pathway of fight and flight, the breathing tends to be shallow. So the breath is all up here. They're living really in that continual stress response. And so when the breathing becomes shallow, you're not using the diaphragmatic muscles, the diaphragm muscles, which live under the rib cage, and the neck and the shoulder muscles act as accessory, secondary muscles to assist in breathing. The other place is actually the diaphragm. So this is very linked to the survival response of fight and flight. And the diaphragm, I'm just going to stand up, is right under the ribs here, that band of muscle that wraps all the way around, and it helps you to breathe, deep diaphragmatic breathing, deep abdominal breathing. You use your diaphragm. So the diaphragm tends to get really restricted and tight, anxiety, panic. If the trait is control, all that pent up tension tends to hang around that band of muscle here, the diaphragm. Then you have the psoas muscles. So fibers of the diaphragm actually goes into the psoas muscle here, okay, which is a deep hip flexor muscle. And the psoas muscle, spelled PSOAS, and one of my teachers would say, as an abbreviation, PSOAS, standing for primary storer of all stresses. So again, it's very, very linked to that the storage of fear, of survival, of that, fight and flight reaction. And when there is a heightened stress response or trauma response, the instinct is to contract, almost go into that fetal position. Then the hips, the knee tucks in, the hip flexor contracts. So that is an instinctive position to crouch down. But when there is micro stresses and micro traumas all the time, continuously, through that continual output into the world, that continual stress, that continual yang, and not balancing out with the yin, then that still gets held in the psoas muscle, and it just builds and builds, which way most people feel a tremendous amount of tension holding there, and that also influences the lower back. So lower back pain tends to be associated with people who are in these patterns of hyperindependence, of that go, go, go and push. And the lower back is also symbolic of support, receiving support. Think of the back as, you know, the back is your support system. Has life got your back? So if you're someone who struggles to receive support or ask for help, which people in hyperindependence patterns tend to have a lot of difficulty with that, just notice, how's your lower back? Do you have any issues around your lower back? So, and then when you go into the organs, the kidneys, the adrenals, they're all located in the lower back as well. So the adrenals are, if they're outputting stress chemicals all the time, they're, you know, outputting energy all the time, and the kidneys are like your life force. It's almost like the batteries are always turned up, but getting depleted. So again, energetically, that's all holding in the lower back as well. So you've gone into the psoas, the diaphragm, the shoulders, now the jaw, big one here, right? So if you think of overdrive, people who are in overdrive and they're breathing quite shallow, they tend to be clenching the jaw. And the jaw is very linked to control. So people in hyperindependence patterns tend to want to be in control, and they'll want to control everything, do it all themselves, because that way it keeps them safe. Extreme self-reliance. So jaw is all about, when we're holding back and grinding, it's control of emotions as well. The jaw is a huge storehouse of emotions, as is the diaphragm and as is the psoas, that grinding down. People in fight and flight, in overdrive, tend to have quite a relationship with teeth grinding, particularly at night. They find it hard to switch off, find it hard to rest. I have an excellent masterclass on that, on-demand masterclass called Unlock Your Jaw, which takes you through a whole 2-hour class of releasing the outside of the jaw, the inside of the jaw, but also into other areas of the body as well, to really help unlock that. They tend to perhaps be quite armored around the heart as well. So those in hyperindependence patterns, they tend to be quite armored, protective of their heart, protective of their emotions, because they most likely grew up where it wasn't safe to express emotions, or emotional safety wasn't demonstrated. So they tend to be, you know, quite armored, wall up against the heart, tightness in the chest. Maybe they're experiencing asthma, anxiety, or even like heart palpitations. Some ways that you can work with this is start to really unwind these areas. I'd work on getting into the jaw every single day, releasing here. Just start to notice how you're moving through the day as well. When you're holding your breath, when you're not breathing into the belly, when you're clenching the jaw, and just start to interrupt those patterns by, I'm going to relax my jaw. If this landed for you and you'd like some support, I have designed some 15-minute somatic resets that help to recode and rewire your nervous system out of these patterns held in the body. So I have one for hyperindependence and overdrive patterns, which specifically work with unwinding this holding in the jaw, in the diaphragm, in the psoas, and through the whole body. So if you work with this daily, it's really powerful, because when you start unwinding the tension patterns, you unwind the psyche as well. So it's a low investment of £22. I'll drop the link in the text below. And also, if you haven't already and you want to find out a bit more about your own unique nervous system patterns, the dominant ones that are showing up, I have a nervous system archetype quiz that you can take. It's a free quiz and it gives you some personalized insights. I will drop the link below as well. And tune in for my next video, and let me know in the comments what landed for you, what are your takeaways. I would love to hear. Much love.